Anyway, welcome to my channel. If you have not, my name is Susie, and if my channel name is Light Frag. Anyways, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. My channel's name is Light Fragments Oracle, in case you're interested and you are new here. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell to all, because I really do like to engage with my subscribers. Speaking of subscribing, I'm going to talk about this first before we get into the topic of today's video. And the topic is going to take place while I put on makeup. I wanted to show you guys what I have got collected so far from my 24,000 subscriber giveaway. Let me show you what is going in, or what I've already put into my giveaway box. As I mentioned the other day, you will get a $48 IT Cosmetics Celebration Powder Foundation, full size. You will get, and I'll be using this today so you'll get to see it, the Brow Power Micro Eyebrow Pencil from IT Cosmetics. And this is the universal defining eyebrow. So it comes in one color and it's called Universal Taupe. I checked mine out yesterday and it is a nice color. If you have light brown hair, dark brown hair, black hair, gray hair, blonde hair, it is a really nice color. So that is going in this box. I have some samples that I am putting in here because I ended up with 2 samples. I'm going to include Lisa Eldridge's Seamless Skin Enhancing Treatment Cleanser. I love Lisa Eldridge. I think she is a class act. So you end up with this cleanser. You end up with 2 OcuSoft Lid Scrub Allergy Eyelid Cleansers. These are great. They're great to use in the morning to get the Sandman out of your eyes, to get any residual anything, like if your eyelids are flaking. I have 2 samples. Now these are dark, but you can use them for bronzer or contour. These are the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. We have Santiago, which is a medium deep, and Guernsey, which is a deep. 2 of these samples. And I think that's it for samples. Now we're going to move on to the jewelry. I absolutely love these. Look at these. Aren't they pretty? They're very, very lightweight. They don't drag down your earlobe. I think these are beautiful. These are also earrings. I'm just showing you one. Aren't these pretty? These are also lightweight, but look where they hang on me. They're even longer than the earrings I have on. So there's those. These I love, but they're too long. So this part right here is a post. You can wear this as a pearl earring separately, but attached to the part that's the post in the back is the long pearl. So you can wear the small, or together you can wear the long pearl. I think these are so elegant. But again, yowza. Too long for me. They actually rest on my shoulders, and I don't think that's attractive for me. I do have a ring that's never been worn that I won. It is pretty large for my fingers. I wear a size 4 on my ring finger. And even on my middle finger, this is too big. But it has the stretchy back. So you can wear it as a thumb ring if you want. I wouldn't. It's too pretty. I'd wear it on my pointer or my middle finger. But check that out. Look at the bling. So that's going in there. And then, I really didn't want to give these away. But I can't wear these either. My heart blue sapphire earrings with a silver back. And some teeny, teeny, teeny little diamondettes that run up the shank of the earring. The reason that I cannot wear these is because the hole in my earlobe is too small. So after having earrings all these years, when I put this in my ear, it's too tight and it hurts. But some of you will be able to wear this. If you're used to wearing earrings that stretch your hole, you will be able to wear these. So all of this jewelry is in there. And I have a sundial pendant. And all inside, around the inside of here, are little tiny itty bitty little rubies. As well as the earrings to match that are little rubies. So that is in a special sash. And then I have on order these halo puffs. This one is wet because I used it this morning. You get 2 in a pack. This one is dry. You can see that I use it quite frequently, practically every night when I take off my makeup, and then I wash it. And when I can't get all of the stained makeup out of this, I put it in like a lingerie bag, zip it, and throw it in the washing machine with my whites. They launder beautiful, but you can wash these by hand. This one is wet, so it looks darker, but they're really the same color. When it dries out, it's this color. So I hang these on a little hook that I have in my bathroom to dry, and I use them every night. These are my go-to for cleaning my face. You want a nice clean face? You can even use these in the morning just to wash your face and get all your night sleep, residual, whatever off your face. They're great. That's what I have so far. I'm collecting, and I really would like to see you subscribe so you can join my giveaway. But I'm going to tell you, so far, the 2 main items in here costs me $48 plus $25, $73, just the 2 items in here. The jewelry is probably about $30 to $50. And these are about 20 bucks. So it adds up. It adds up really quickly. I do want to put some makeup in here. There will be more in here, and I'll let you know. I wasn't going to share any of this, but I really think it's important for people to see what is going to go in the giveaway. 2 more things that I want to show you, and then we will get on to putting on the makeup. Am I yelling? I yell sometimes. It's just my nature. I'm boisterous. I've got to show you what my husband bought me over the weekend. Look at this shirt. Every snack you make, every meal you bake, every bite you take, I'll be watching you. There are other lyrics which kind of messed me up at the end, but you know what I mean. You know the song, right? May the forest be with you. Getting on with today's video. What is the topic of today's video? Today's video is about relationships. Spousal relationships, long-term or marital. Now, I am not a therapist. I'm not a relationship expert. I can only tell you about my experience and what has worked in our relationship over knowing each other for 30 years, being married 29 years this coming month. And I need to tell you, because I'm going to be very open and transparent about myself, the mistakes I've made, the things I've learned, but I'm going to keep my husband's anonymity private because that story is for him to tell. Today, I'm going to be putting on my Clarins Oleo foundation. I'm going to be using the new It Brow Power Micro. And I have three new It Cosmetics Superhero No Tug Shadow Sticks. I have stayed away from shadow sticks because my experience with them is that they always crease. And I watched the video on this. They have a really good reputation. They are long wear, and I got 3 colors: Transformative Taupe, Silk Armor, and Epic Amethyst, which this is what I'll be putting on today. Take my little palette and put, that's probably too much, but I don't know. Last time I think I needed that much. This is the Real Techniques foundation brush. And I'm just going to tap it in to the makeup and kind of dot it all over my skin. This looks dark, but once I spread it, it's really not that dark. So I've been putting up a lot of shorts lately, various shorts here on YouTube. And, you know, some of them involve my husband. We have been invited to go on a podcast. My husband, he's not real keen on social media. He's just not. He's just not a social media guy. But we did not come about our relationship easily. We are both very, very passionate people. And whenever you have a passionate personality, it's going to show up in your relationship. It's going to show up in how you express yourself and talk to people, your opinions, and all of that. And part of me did not have the skill set to be with someone that was equally as passionate as me, and or equally as bold, or equally as opinionated. And while we agree now on a lot of subjects, we did not always agree. And we had different parenting styles based on the way we were raised. So it would stand to reason that I would bring those same qualities into my relationship. And except for a few, I didn't want to be with a man that had a temper. I didn't see any need for it. And I thought it was unnecessary, which is why my first husband, he had a temper. But because he had a heart condition, he had learned at an early age how to temper his temper, how to bring it down several notches, or not react, or go with the flow. And my kids wouldn't know this because they didn't see him before he got married, but I saw him lose his temper once. Not on me, but he came over and gave me a hug and asked me to please not allow him to get like that anymore in our relationship. And we were engaged. So a guy can learn how to handle themselves. They can learn. Some men, it takes a lot longer. And there's a phrase that's being thrown around in the universe, toxic masculinity. And I didn't really like it because I don't like the term toxic, as I've mentioned in other videos. Toxic to me means harmful waste. And I don't believe that any human being, male or female, is a toxic waste. What I believe is, as human beings, we have a free will. And we make choices. Every time something comes out of our mouths, every time we make a facial expression, every time we go to debate someone, we're making those choices. We're making choices how we express ourselves and the things that we do and the behaviors that we have. And what makes somebody mature is gaining that wisdom that this didn't work, that didn't work, this never works. Why do I keep doing it? Why do I keep saying it? Why do I keep acting like this? So there is a process of filtering out of our own behaviors, the attitudes, the verbiage, the facial expressions that are not conducive to a good relationship. And some stuff we forget. Okay, we forget. We make mistakes. Well, when I met my second husband, I prayed for a few details after my first husband passed away of a man that I would like to meet. And the first one, the word was aggressive. Be careful what you pray for. What I was referring to in aggressiveness was the ability to be able to take on me, the kids. I owned a home, but we didn't have any mortgage insurance. So I still had a mortgage. Someone that would have the ability to be able to take us on and love us. And in my mind, I had it all hunky-dory. The guy's going to swoop in. He's going to make the money. You know, I'm going to continue doing what I need to do. You know, we're going to raise a family together. Just that one word, aggressive. So, my husband, very charismatic man, very funny man, very aggressive. If money needs to come into this home, he's always been really good about that. But I work too, okay? I started working before we got married. I knew that with all three of my kids in school, I was going to need to work. So I wasn't really willing to give that up when we ended up getting married. And my husband was also in a transition phase. They had just closed down the military base where he was working, or in the process of, and he needed to find another career. So he ended up going back to school. And it was a really tough time. It was a tough time for both of us. You know, here I was going from 3 years of not working and taking care of a sick husband and children and homeschooling my kids back into the workforce. And I basically just picked up any old job right away, just so I would have an added income to what, you know, the death benefits that I was getting. And I needed to be able to buy food because at the end of the month, there was no money left over. Everything got paid, but there was no money left over. So I needed to make extra money during the week so I could buy food and incidentals for my kids. And I ended up putting them in private school. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot. But getting back to, whenever two people meet, they always put their best foot forward. Male and female. Because God only knows who wants to be spewing out what kind of person they are on the first date. I wasn't going to let any guy get near me or talk with any guy until I laid it on the line. I heard this, and this. And he was honest. He was 100% honest. Which I thought, if a guy is this honest, and he's telling me this very personal stuff, and I don't even really know him at all, then there's got to be some character here. But that was my first intuition. And then, you know, our relationship blossomed from there. But when we got together, merging an ex-wife, a stepson, my 3 girls that were grieving that lost their dad, then we brought a baby in together into the world, equals 5, and the dynamics of him being now the head of the household in a totally different character than the girls were used to. Yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was tough. And there were arguments and disagreements that went on sometimes for days. They would stop and continue, stop and continue. And the only thing that I can think that saved our relationship was the fact my husband made some changes, some very drastic changes, and has kept that way of living for 29 years. And the other thing is that I ended up getting some counseling too, necessary counseling. But I guess deep down in my heart, despite both of our faults, I knew that there was a character and a substance to my husband that was untapped. And I know that sounds crazy, but I believe that it was untapped. Plus, we were attracted to each other. We both liked talking. We both liked carrying on a conversation. We both liked doing things. Even though during all of this time, and really, I blame myself, not him. I blame myself for the arguments that continued, because in hindsight, looking back, they were unnecessary, very unnecessary. Men don't like conflict as a rule. They don't like conflict. They know themselves. And I'm going to get into a little bit of that. And women, 80% of all arguments will arise because of a woman bringing something up she's unhappy about. I'm not saying the guy doesn't. He probably brings up 20% of the things he's unhappy about, and it's usually a leadership role. And so it took a lot of getting, used to it. It took a lot of getting to know each other. It would be wrong of me to say that I never did anything or said anything wrong. And it wasn't until I met my mentor and I began to tell her things that were going on in our relationship that she would say to me. That's what I call dropping a bomb. Some things have to be discussed, but not everything. And how you do it is going to make all the difference in the world. And I used to observe the way she was with her husband, because I was too busy focused on stupid little things. Like, for instance, he would, if he was fixing something, I'd be in the background going, well, how come you're doing it that way? Don't you think it would be easier to do it this way? Susie, please. I don't know. I was looking something up. Susie. And then it would be, and I wouldn't shut up. And then it would be, Susie, stop. Or there were other times when we were having a disagreement about something, and I could see that it would be escalating, and I would just, if I have to prove a point, I can hammer it home. Let me tell you, I will. It's terrible. But I learned that the hammering home does not work with him. He reaches a point where he will either leave the house, shut down completely, or lose it. And when he feels like he's going to lose it, he will tell me, you need to step away from me. You need to get away from me. So he's warning me. He knows that he can be aggressive. But did I always do that? No. And it really got ugly. And I'm just going to say that we always came back to one another with apologies. Today, the apologies are so easy, but they were never easy for me. I did not like to tell my husband that I was sorry. I'm not quite sure where I learned this, but I think it's the fact that I always thought that I was right. And there is a snobbery in that. There is a mockery almost in that you're putting yourself above your partner. And I never saw that. I never saw it until recently. And for me, recent is within the last 5 years. Within the last 5 years, I have learned so much about my own behavior. I mean, I was always working on myself. But I've reached the point in my relationship, the kids are now grown, where I feel it is more important to be at peace than it is to be right. And being right does not always mean that you are right, because it's how you go about being right. And two people that have two different sets of beliefs or two different ways of doing things are going to think that they're both right. Each is going to think they're right. So there were a lot of situations. One situation in particular I will get into. My husband took on another job. He commuted an hour away from home and an hour home every day. This is it. Look at that. Wow. That's a perfect match. Check that out. I mean, it goes on like butter. Look at that. And you can also pat it in. I'm probably going to set these with a little bit of powder. I want to go up into my crease more. And I think I'll take this under my eye. I'm going to do one eye, go off camera, do the other eye, and give you my final thoughts on the makeup, and I'll continue the conversation on where I left off about my relationship. Okay, let me use the second color, which is Transformative Taupe. That one, oh, that is gorgeous. Look at this. Wow. That one is going right here. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Okay, my friends, this is the finished look. Let me get in close so you can see the eyeshadow. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, can you see? Let me see. Okay. This Silk Armor, which is like a pink taupe almost. It's so pretty. I'm putting this in the giveaway. And I ended off with the fact that my husband was commuting an hour to a job. It was a sales position for the trade that he's in. And in that office, it was all men because they were tradesmen, sales tradespeople. Except for there was a woman that did accounting for, answered the phone and stuff like that. And he ended up becoming friends with this woman. And, you know, he kept assuring me that I didn't have anything to worry about. In fact, we even went out with the couple because she was married. She was trying to have a baby. She was unsuccessful. But it just, we were at a phase in our relationship where the kids were teenagers. They were taking up so much of my emotional energy. I didn't have any energy to give to him. And so, you know, there were things going on with the job. I mean, she crossed the line with me. She took him out to lunch and he went. I thought that that was very naive of him because if the tables were turned and I was working with a guy and a guy took me out to lunch and I did not tell my husband about it. My husband was still working there. And one day we were talking about going out to lunch somewhere, I don't know, Texas Roadhouse or whatever. And I said, you know, I don't drink Coca-Cola anymore, but I really would love a Coke. And he goes, oh yeah? With a lemon in it? And I went, with a lemon in it? Who taught you that? I mean, that was so out of his character. I'm like, do you have something to tell me? Well, come to find out, she took him out to lunch for his birthday. And she told him that he should be putting a lemon in his Coca-Cola and how it changes the flavor and it makes it so much better. And I got really upset about that. Number one, he didn't tell me. Number two, I had to find out on my own. And there was just something about her when she said, I get along better with guys than I get along with women, that I was like, uh-oh, this isn't good. So being the woman that I am, I had my female friends that I would talk to, but being the woman that I am, I got snoopy. And I actually went to the husband, her husband, and griped to him once. I called him. And he's like, yeah, there's nothing to worry about. You know your husband, he's just a jibber jabber. He loves to talk and this and that. And I said, well, he shouldn't be talking to your wife. He should be talking to me. Because long conversations with your wife are the ones that should be happening with me. And it was dead silence on the phone. And he went, well, I can kind of understand that. He wasn't too happy. Because we, you know, at this point, we had all known each other. And I was like, you know what? Everything's out on the table now. There's nothing going to hold me back. I don't care. You don't want me? Friggin' leave me. And at the same token, my husband is kind of like, you know, you're crazy. You're this, you're that. It's just work related. We're just friends. I mean, we've all been out together. And I'm like, there was something not right with her. She spent more time when the four of us would go out talking to my husband than she would her own husband. And of course, my husband was just being nice. And you know what I did? I prayed. I did a novena and I prayed that she'd get pregnant with twins. And she'd have so little time to do anything. And I knew that my husband didn't want any more kids. That she would be out of our hair. Not that he didn't, you know, contribute. Because when it takes two people to have that kind of a friendship. And I don't think that men and women can be friends. I'm sorry, you can yell at me all you want. When Harry met Sally, men and women cannot be friends. They can be if there's not a long-term relationship or marriage already going on with either of the parties. And I will take that to my grave. It's an impossibility based on the way that we have evolved as sexual beings, as women, and sexual beings as men. And if you're running to somebody of the opposite sex and you're in a long-term relationship because you need something, I don't care if it's going out for coffee. What do you talk about? Ooh, the coffee's good. Do you talk about music? Do you talk about work? I mean, eventually you're going to be talking about your relationship. It's human nature. And people want to deny this. They want to deny it. So, relationship experience matters. And you want to see it progress this way, right? You're climbing the mountain and you're going to get to the top of the mountain. And most often it's like this, but you don't want to see it flatline and you don't want to see it do this. So there are tools. And a lot of times we have to fall before we get back up and do it right. And I'm not going to get transparent in every single mistake that I've made, but you put two and two together. We're both passionate people. We're both go-getters. We're both people that like to get things done. And when we work together, we accomplish so much. But if we don't work together on whatever it is, then it's cut in half or it's not at all. So we are learning still how to work together to get the most out of our relationship. And when I felt like giving up and calling it quits, my husband wouldn't. And when he felt like calling it quits and giving up, I wouldn't. It's kind of like this. That's it. I want a divorce. We can't make this relationship work. That's it. I want a divorce. Him, me saying that. And him saying, great, fine, I'll call the lawyer. Yeah, you do that. You call the lawyer. You call the lawyer, and you're going to pay for the lawyer. I'm not paying for the lawyer. You want the divorce. And see, that gets you thinking. Or it could be him saying, that's it. That's it. I want a divorce. I can't take this anymore. And me saying, after 30 freaking years, you want a divorce? Over my dead body, you're going to get a divorce. And then an hour later, one of us will say, so do you really want a divorce? And we'll look at each other like this. And we bust out laughing because neither of us wants a divorce. Who wants to go through that misery? And it is misery. Not if the relationship can potentially be worked on. So that's my message today, friends, on relationships. I hope you like this video. I hope you give it a thumbs up. I hope you subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Be well and be blessed. I love ya. Bye-bye.